31 and 0. 31 and 0. What does your personal scorecard look like in the first month of 2023? 31 and 0. You're watching this video. I'm shooting this on the last day of January. You're watching this on the first day of February. How has the first 31 days of a brand new calendar year been for you? Are you achieving your mission, your targets, and your goals like you thought? What does your personal scorecard look for the first 31 days? When I say 31 and 0, it reminds me of the great Bill Parcells talking about how he would measure an NFL team, an NFL franchise, when he would take it over, bottom of the barrel from the outhouse to the penthouse. Coach Parcells used to always say, when it came to NFL football, like business and like life, you are exactly who you are. If your football record is 16 and 2, your record is 16 and 2. If your record is 2 and 16, like many of the teams that he took over, your record is 2 and 16. Luck and shoulda, coulda has nothing to do with it. In fact, one of Coach Parcells' greatest quotes is he talks about the scoreboard is always right. The scoreboard says who's best. The scoreboard never lies. If you're 16 and 2, you're 16 and 2. If you're 2 and 16, you're 2 and 16. And it doesn't really matter whether you were close in some of those games. Doesn't matter if you thought you were lucky or unlucky in some of those games. All that really, really matters is the result. And as Coach Parcells used to say, you'll have these PR guys say, well, we were 8 and 8, but we lost 5 games by less than a touchdown, or we lost 5 of those games by a field goal or less. And Coach Parcells never saw it like that. He never saw it like, well, we would have been better if we had just got some luck. Coach Parcells was quoted as saying, it just means you're horseshit when it matters. And you are who you are. The scoreboard is never wrong. So I'm proud to say after 31 days, I'm 31 and 0. My personal scoreboard is a perfect 31 and 0. But I want to talk about what this board actually means. What I'm referring to when I say 31 and 0 is I'm referring to the calendar that I keep beside my bed. I have one of those big dry erase 2023 calendars. You can get them anywhere. Buy them at Office Max, Business Depot, whatever. I put that up beside my bed, and I call it my Jerry Seinfeld. Woo! I call it my Jerry Seinfeld Don't Break the Red Chain calendar. That was my wife driving by the way. I don't woo at everybody. I woo at my neighbor, Tom Burns. I woo at Marc Andre, and I also woo a testament, a tribute to the 16-time greatest marker of all time, Ric Flair, wrestling legend, who I met a few years ago in Orlando. It's the calendar I put up beside my bed, and as Jerry Seinfeld says, never break the red chain. My goal every day is to put a big Sharpie red X up on the board. So how do I get that big red Sharpie X up there? How do I go 31 and 0 for January 2023? Well, like Seinfeld said, they interviewed Seinfeld years ago in GQ magazine, and they said, Jerry, how the hell have you become the wealthiest and most successful comic when the majority of comics are still starving doing stand-up, and you've got a multi-million dollar TV show, highest paid, wealthiest comic in history? He said, I never break the red chain. That was his answer. I never break the red chain. So the interviewer asked him, he said, what do you mean you never break the red chain? He said, I have a calendar on my wall, and he says, I've decided that the one thing I need to do one thing to do, not two, not three. The one thing I have to do every single day, no days off, to give myself the best chance to be successful as a comic, to make the most money, to write the best lines, to have the most success on TV and live entertainment. The one thing I have to do is I have to write comedy every day for 1 hour. Some days I write more than 1 hour, but every single day, 7 days a week, 365, I write comedy. I sit down, I put my hands on the keyboard, and I write comedy for 60 minutes, no exceptions. Thanksgiving Day, Christmas Day, birthday, feeling good, feeling lousy, sick, happy, depressed, whatever. And then he would put a red X up on the calendar in his office. And he said, I only have one goal. I only have one goal: to never break the red chain. To never, ever break the red chain. To never, ever, ever break the red chain. And the red chain is when he writes every day for an hour, he gets that X. Just think of how many starving comics, starving entertainers, jealous and envious comics around the planet who are like, well, Seinfeld's lucky, or he got a break, or I have more talent than Jerry Seinfeld, or better yet, my material is better, my friends say so. Guys who would never, ever, ever be able to put up consecutive months and years and never break the red chain. They don't put in the work. They don't do the daily work like Jerry Seinfeld. They break the chain, they don't write, and then they whine and complain because they're not the richest comic and entertainer in history. So Seinfeld, when I read that article in GQ years ago, I've always remembered that. Never break the red chain. Never break the red chain. But here's the important part. You have to decide what's the one thing in your world. What's the one goal in your world? It doesn't work if you have 2 goals. It doesn't work if you have 5 goals. That's why New Year's resolutions are horseshit. Horseshit. Those are for pretenders. Those are for businessmen who are not serious about winning. Talk to a winner and they have one main goal. They have one outcome goal. Talk to a champion, somebody who's won before, and they have one goal. Okay? All the greats, they have one defining outcome, what I call outcome goal. So here's the thing. What the red chain is all about is deciding on your one goal. So my outcome goal for this year, for 2023, is to 10x, to 10 times my personal sovereignty. That's it. That's my one goal for this year. And personal sovereignty means for me to live life and do business on my own terms. Freedom, independence, control, autonomy, you name it. That's personal sovereignty, doing what I want, when I want, with whom I want, at the price I want, on the terms I want. That to me is personal sovereignty. So my one goal this year, my one outcome goal, Michael, what's your goal this year? I only have one goal: to 10x my personal sovereignty. And that's hard, that's a stretch, because I already live where I want. I pretty much come and go as I please. I am in a safe financial harbor position. I don't have to make any more money. I can choose my clients. I can go out for a walk in the afternoon like this. My daughter goes to the school that we choose. I can go up and play tennis. I can go to bed when I want. So I'm already living a life of personal sovereignty. But here's the thing. It's not good enough. I want to push myself out of my comfort zone to 10x my personal sovereignty over the next 365 days. So that's my outcome goal. Your outcome goal, one goal, could be I want to lose 20 pounds. That's an outcome goal. Another goal could be I want to make $200,000 this year. I want to make $200,000. I want that to be my income. Or your goal could be, well, I want to stop drinking alcohol. That's your outcome goal. I'm not going to drink alcohol anymore. That's your outcome goal. So these are all long-range outcome goals. You need one. You need one. Pretenders have a list of goals. Contenders have one goal till it's complete, then attack the next goal. So with my outcome goal being I want to 10x my personal sovereignty this year, well, that's going to take me 365 days. So that's my one outcome goal. But here's the thing. What you got to do then is break the outcome goal. I want to lose 20 pounds, Michael. I want to stop drinking alcohol, Michael. I want to reconnect with my children and my wife, Michael. I want to make $150,000 more this year. I want to increase my bottom line profits by 25%. Whatever your outcome goal is, break it down into the 2, maybe 3 process goals. I'm telling you how to win a championship here. I'm telling you how I won a hockey championship. I'm telling you how you make any of this stuff actually happen. The guys that talk about listing goals and one goal for every area in your life, they've never won fuck all. They've never won. Show me the championship rings. Show me the personal sovereignty. Show me the championships. Show me the winning. Show me you're still doing it now. Have they done it in the past? Never listen to somebody you wouldn't trade places with. That's my recommendation for you. Never listen to an expert or a coach or a consultant or a mentor. Do not listen to another person who you wouldn't change places with. If they haven't done it and they're not still doing it, that's fantasy sold as reality. Run. Book reports, fuzzy-headed academics, and pretend experts are dangerous for your health. There's a ton of information. People say we live in the information age. We may live in the information age. I believe we live in the entertainment age, but nonetheless, the information age, here's the crutch. Most of it's bad information. Most of the shit you get on Facebook and Instagram and all this other trash and garbage, it's all fake and it's all garbage. It's bad advice from people who've never won anything. So always keep that in mind. Never take advice from somebody you wouldn't trade places with. If you wouldn't trade places with me, stop listening to me. You know, don't read my emails, don't watch my videos, don't buy my book, unsubscribe from my newsletter, and for God's sakes, bail out of my mastermind. If I become a fake guru or a pretend expert, or if I'm not living personal sovereignty and world build, I'm a world builder. That's what I teach. I don't teach knitting, I don't teach yoga, I don't teach mindfulness like my wife. I teach world building. That's the thing I'm the best at. So that's the thing I teach. But if you won't trade places with somebody, don't listen to that person. In fact, stop listening to that person. So you got to have 2 to 3 process goals that will make the outcome goal happen. And this is where 99.9% of people drop the ball. I'm going to lose 40 pounds, Michael. Sure. Show me your process goals. What are the 2 or 3 things you have to do 365 days to make that happen? Michael, I want to increase my bottom line profits in my business. Great. Show me the 2 or 3 process goals every day for making that happen. Michael, I want to have a marriage that's on fire. I want to reconnect with my wife. I want to reconnect with my children. I want to become a hero in my own home. That's my big outcome goal this year. Great. What are the 2 or 3 process goals you need to activate every single day to make that happen? So my 3 process goals, my outcome goal is personal sovereignty times 10. Very, very difficult. So I have 3 things I have to do every single day to get my 3X, to never break the red chain. Number 1, I got to do what I'm doing now. 15,000 steps per day of what I call road work. The great Gary Halbert called it road work, where you get out first thing in the morning. I get out here without technology. The only thing I use is this broken iPhone 7. And I shoot a video some days, but most days I just walk in solitude. For about 70 minutes, I get in 12,000, 13, sometimes 15,000 steps. That's my goal for the day, 15,000 steps. I listen to my golden gut. I listen to my creator. I think. No earbuds, no technology, no distractions, just me and silence. Like the great Thomas Edison said, I listen for ideas. In silence, I walk and listen for ideas. This is when I come up with my great business, marketing, and promotion ideas. This is when I 10x my personal sovereignty. So number one, I have to walk every single day, and I do it first thing for an hour minimum. Road work every day. Number two, for me to have a chance at 10xing my personal sovereignty, I've got to do Operation Money Suck every day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. What the hell is Operation Money Suck, Michael? It's marketing for 60 minutes every day. I sit down at my laptop and I do something for an hour every day that brings me money. Sometimes I write emails, sometimes I write telegrams, sometimes I work on my newsletter, sometimes I'll write a chapter in a book that I'm writing, sometimes I'll write the phone scripts for my staff. Whatever it is, it has to be 60 minutes of marketing, advertising, and promotion. Anything that brings me money. Operation Money Suck has to answer this question. Where's the profit in this? If I can't answer that question, that's not Operation Money Suck. So I sit down and I copyright and I write for money for an hour every day. Most days I write for 2 hours, 3 hours, the most ever 5 hours. But to get a red X, one of my process goals, I've got to copyright Operation Money Suck every damn day. Thirdly, my third and last process goal to 10xing my world, to 10xing my freedom, my autonomy, my personal sovereignty, is I must sharpen the axe every day. I must sharpen the saw every day. And this is my favorite part. I do this. This is a piece of cake for me. I have to sit down and I have to read physical books, physical newsletters, physical magazines, whatever it is. I have to sit down with my highlighters and my pens and those white recipe index cards. And all I do is read to sharpen the axe, to get smarter, to learn more. And any ideas, ahas, or insider secrets that I learn, that I share a lot with you, those get written down on those white index cards. And I have them there to write my newsletters, shoot my videos, my telegrams, my books, everything. So I must sharpen the axe every day. So what do? I either sit on the end of the dock, sit on my boat, or I sit at the pool here in Naples, big piping hot cup of coffee. It's the third thing I do. So I've been drinking water all morning, so nothing tastes better than that big cup of coffee. I sit there in the shade. I get out my highlighters, my pens, and I study my paper and ink newsletters that I've subscribed to, books that I'm reading. I'll even print off social media stuff that somebody finds for me. I won't go on those swamps. And I just study for 60 minutes. And I set a timer, like everything else. I set a timer, and that's a piece of cake for me. The sharpening the axe is a piece of cake for me. So those are the three things, men, that I need to do every single day to have a chance of 10xing my personal sovereignty. If I just came out like most people on New Year's Eve, 3 sheets to the wind, I'm going to lose 50 pounds. Like, fuck, you're going to lose 50 pounds. You're going to put on 50 pounds. The biggest difference is this. Show me your process goals. Show me your process goals. When we won a Barclay Cup, we never talked about winning a Barclay Cup. It never left our lips. We talked about the 2 things that we had to do. We talked about the 3 things that we had to do for 7 months, for 10,000 shifts, to be able to have a chance to win the Barclay Cup. You know, guys like Bill Belichick, they never talk about winning Super Bowls. Chumps and pretenders talk. That's the same as a person who talks about New Year's resolutions. They expose themselves as not knowing anything about winning. Champions and winners, contenders and cleaners, they talk about the process. What does Nick Saban talk about all the time? He talks about the process. He talks about the never-ending process. A year, 5 years, 20 years, the process never ends. Fall in love with the process every day, every week, every hour, every month. And then and only then do you have a chance to win. And it doesn't even guarantee you win, but if you don't follow the process. So the process is the 2 or 3 things that you need to do to lose the 20 pounds, to reconnect with your wife, to become a hero in your own home, to make $1 million this year, anything and everything that you want, it all comes down to the 2 or 3 process goals. And at the end of the day, when I've hit those 3 things, what's my reward before I shut my eyes? I have it right beside my bed. I grab the red Sharpie and I put a big badass X in the calendar. So it started out January 1st, 1-0, January 2nd, 2-0, January 3rd, 3-0. And my goals were so minute. I wanted to get to 1-0. First day done. I want to now get to 2-0. I was 2-0. Then I said my next goal, I got to get to 7-0. I got to 7 straight days without breaking the chain. And then I said my next goal is 14-0. I got to 14-0. Then I said, okay, 21, Michael, you can do it. So 21-0, those 3 processes every day. Every day, 21 times I mark the X. Then I'm like, okay, 21, you can go to 21-0. You're a national champion, go to 21-0. I got to 21-0. Every day, a tiny little victory. Jerry Seinfeld, don't break the chain, Michael. Don't break the red chain. Don't break the red chain. And then I'm get to 30 days. And I'm like telling my mastermind members, I'm 30-0, what are you? I'm 30-0, like I'm talking about it. I'm thinking about it. I mean, it's what I'm doing. It's my process. I'm living the process. There's some days in there, guys, where I don't feel good, or it's hot, or it's cold, or I don't have good energy, or I don't feel like getting up at 6 a.m. and walking. But I look at that calendar and it says, 11-0, or it says 17-0. I'm like, I can't break the chain. I did a walk this time as late as 7:30 the other day, so I wouldn't break the chain. 99% of the time I get up at the right time and all that stuff. But for one day, it was a Sunday. We had family stuff, and I ate my dinner, and I said to Krista, I can't break the chain. The one thing I have to do that I haven't done today is my road work. And she put on her shoes, and Emery grabbed her bike, and we as a family went on a 70-minute road walk at 7 o'clock at night. And that was one of the most fulfilling and proud X's I put on there. So there's going to be days that it's going to be hard, but you're like, now you're into it. It's like when I was shooting videos last year, I went 300 and did one more day than a year. 366 X's on the calendar, one for good measure. Man, there was days when it was snowing, minus 30 degrees Celsius, plus over 100 degrees here in Florida. And I just kept walking. I had the China virus. I kept walking and shooting videos. 30-0, 60-0, 90-0, 120-0. And I never broke the chain the whole year. And I tore down that calendar on New Year's Day. And I'm like, I filled it, baby. I filled it 365-0. You know what that looks like in front of your queen, in front of your children? That's how you become a hero in your own home. You pull that calendar down, you say 365-0, 365-0. I didn't talk a good game, I played a good game. So that's what, God willing, my plan is this year, is my process, my outcome goal. I have one goal, to 10x the personal sovereignty of my life, to become more free, to become more independent, to have more time for things that I love, to have more financial freedom, to help more men. And the 3 process goals: Operation Money Suck, my road work, and sharpening the axe. And I do those every damn day. And I'm happy to report, 1 month in, it's already the end of January, you're already into February now, I'm 31-0. So my next goal is to get to 40-0, and then my next goal will be at 45-0. That's how winning's done. That's how winning's done. It's not done with applause. It's not done with motivational videos and TikTok. It's not done with any of that stuff. It's done in the darkness. It's done in the darkness at 6 a.m. It's done with a walk at 7 p.m. so you don't break the chain. It's done in silence. It's done with sore legs and sore knees. That's how winning's done. That's how you separate yourself from everybody else. So if you haven't already, if your year isn't off to the start you want, okay, get help from a guy like me. Buy my book, nobullbook.com. If you've done that, then the next step, subscribe to my newsletter, monthly newsletter, badassletter.com. And if you want more than that, if you want to be immersed in winning, if you want to go 365 and 0, apply for my World Builders Mastermind, my online World Builders Mastermind, badassworldbuilder.com. The links are below. I'm telling you right now, like, you can still turn it around if you've had a sluggish start. If you're off, you get right back on it. You can still kick ass and take names. You have 11 glorious months, but go out and buy that calendar today and put it right up beside your bed on the wall. Your wife may think you're insane, but you fill that fucking thing and she won't think you're insane. Your kids will see it, your grandkids will see it. And most importantly, those are mini victories for me. I don't need pats on the back. I don't need to hear from Tony Robbins. I don't need to be inspired. I kick my own ass. And I kick my own ass, and then I say, I pat myself on the back with that little X, with that red X. You're an entrepreneur, you're a businessman, you're a king. Nobody's gonna cheer for you. You need to cheer for yourself. And that calendar will cheer for you. It's just a little X that says, attaboy. Little X that says, attaboy, attaboy, attaboy. I have guys in my champions thing that have lost 100 pounds, 1X at a time. Attaboy, 10 pounds, attaboy, 30 pounds, attaboy, 80 pounds. Guys that have quit drinking, cold turkey, attaboy, attaboy, attaboy. I know a guy that's, he's like increased his business by 35 net points last year. Attaboy, attaboy, the process goals. So get the calendar up, put the Sharpie right beside your bed on the nightstand, and then decide what's your one goal, not two. What's the most important thing you can do this year? To be an elite man, to be an elite husband, to be an elite father, and to be an elite entrepreneur. What's the one thing that'll move the needle the most? As soon as you know that outcome, then break it down into 2 or 3 things you have to do. What's the process every day? What's the process to winning the Super Bowl? What's the process to doing all those things? And then you're absolutely, then you know, okay, these are the things that I have to do 7 days a week, 14 days and 21 days and then 30 days. But what's the process? How do I win the Stanley Cup? How do I win the national championship? What's the process? And then when you get those 3 things, just write them down in your journal every day. But most importantly, get them out of the way early in the day, like early in the day. Like I get my walking done, boom, it's done. Then I get my writing done, boom, it's done. And then I get my reading done, boom, it's done. And I got that X up there most of the days before 11 a.m. What is the process to achieving that one goal? And every day, Jerry Seinfeld, I'm not going to break the red X. And see if you can go 2-0, then see if you can go 7-0, see if you can go 21-0, see if you can go 30-0. And then share it with people that support you. You know, I say to Krista every night, just before I'm like 28-0, 28-0. I tell my world builders and my mastermind guys, I'm like 31-0, fuckers, 31-0. Like you gotta pat yourself on the back. You gotta clap. It's a grind, and you gotta take pride in it, in a small circle, you know, of people that get it, that you're a cleaner and that you're a closer and a rainmaker, and just add up those X's and just visualize what's it going to feel like to tear down that calendar at the end of the year. And it's just like 365-0. And you know what? The best thing about ripping down that calendar is you've then achieved, you did all the outcome things, and you'll tear down the calendar and you're like, wow, I lost 20 pounds. I lost 25 pounds. Or you'll tear down the calendar and you're like, man, my marriage is on fire. It's like we're newlyweds. I've got a relationship with my children I've never ever had. I'm so connected and present. Or you'll look up and you'll say, man, I made twice as much money as I did last year working half the time. Or man, I've got more autonomy than I ever have. Or I haven't had a drink of alcohol in a year, you'll say. Or oh my God, that's the great thing, is it just happens automatically when you trust the process. So get the calendar up. And you know what? Here's the great thing about these calendars. Whenever I mess up or I just, whatever happens, right? Instead of letting it bleed, you miss a day. Let's say you miss a day of walking, or you miss a day of copywriting, or you screw up on your diet, or you don't drink a gallon of water, or whatever it is. Forgive yourself and get back on the horse. You know, you're not on a 3-state bender. For God's sakes, just, okay, you know what? I ate the wrong foods. I had too many drinks. I got myself in a bad environment for I shouldn't have been at that barbecue. Whatever it is, just forgive yourself and boom, right back on it. Next day, you're up, process. The chain goes again. Start the chain again. And then like 1-0, I'm now 2-0, I'm now 7-0. So just because you mess up, that's the whole point. If you do screw up, or if you mess up or make a poor decision, no problem. It doesn't become a 2-year bender. Yeah, I missed the gym and my God, I put on 70 pounds. Like, no, if you mess up, the next day, win another X. So it doesn't matter when that happens, right? So it doesn't bleed in. It doesn't become a week or another year or anything like that. How do you think my 6 straight years, my hockey team's never lost 2 games in a row? In 6 years, my Blue Wings never lost 2 games in a row because boom, start it again, start the chain again. That's it. I'm 31-0, and God willing, you know, at the end of this next month, I'm going to be like, man, I'm like 61-0, 60-0, whatever day it's on. And join me in this tribe of brothers here. And like I said, if you need some help with this, for God's sakes, buy my book or subscribe to my newsletter, or better yet, join one of my masterminds, and let's get this year going. So what if you're struggling in January? So what if you've gone back on your resolutions? Resolutions are for poodles anyways. You know, environment is for champions. Willpower is for poodles. So just forget about it and start fresh. 1-0, 2-0, 7-0, 14-0. And let me and my brothers help you along the way. Everybody in my masterminds is counting the days. 7-0, 14-0. They have their calendars up. You need to do the same. BadassWorldBuilders.com. Kick ass and take names. We've got 11 glorious months left. 11 glorious months of runway to make one incredible dream of yours happen. 3 processes at a time. Michael McLean, 31-0. God willing, soon to be 61-0. Never, ever, 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 ever break the red chain. 2 words that changed my life. 2 words that'll change your life. Be relentless.